Well, hey there, Nurse Awesome. We're going to talk a little bit today about how to deal with sort of high maintenance families. So you go into report and you get told by the outgoing nurse that the patient is absolutely wonderful. Then she tells you that the patient's family is not so wonderful. In fact, they are a hot mess and they are going to be up in your grill all shift. So your immediate inclination is to say, oh, great, I don't need this kind of bull. I have a lot of things to do today. And you kind of want to label them and put them off into this corner. Try to take a breath and remember a couple of things. First of all, you're going to get from the situation what you put into it. So if you project into that space with that patient's family that they are going to be a pain in your butt, that is exactly what you're going to perceive in that situation. No matter what they show you, you're going to think that they're being a pain in the butt. So try not to jump to conclusions. That's a really hard thing to do, but it will help you a lot if you can just remember you are there to nurse the patient and their family. They are as much your patient as the person laying in the bed. So if you can just take a moment and collect yourself and ask to be a beneficial presence for that family, you will be super surprised at how far you get in that situation. So just the other day this happened to me, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I was kind of amazed how needy this particular family was. I remember in nursing school learning all about therapeutic communication, right? It didn't help me in this particular situation. I guess I needed to pay more attention in psych class. So what I did instead was try to listen really carefully to this patient's daughter, who was probably scared to death that her parent was about to die, and more than likely frustrated that there was nothing that she could do to help the person who had always helped her whole life. So once I kind of put it in that place in my head, I was able to address her with my heart instead of that part of my brain that was thinking, oy vey, I don't want to listen to you anymore, right? And that place was there because she was very high maintenance. She was out of the room every 5 minutes asking for me to do something for her parent. Now, it wasn't the easiest thing for me to do, but I finally made some time early in the morning to sit down with the patient's daughter. And I listened to her express her concerns. And it turns out that the reason she was consulting Dr. Google all day is because she didn't understand all the tubes and drains and monitors and buzzes and noises that were coming from the room, right? She was trying as best she could to kind of get a handle on it and figure out what was going on. Well, that seemed pretty easy to me. All I did was explain things to her. Left the room thinking, all good. Yeah, not so much. She was still out of the room every 10 minutes asking for me to come and do something for her parent. I recognized that pretty quickly as a sense of fear from her. I could see that she felt completely out of control. And so I gave her something to do. You guys, don't laugh. This worked so well. She was hugely concerned that he was running a fever. So I handed her the temperature probe, the little temporal artery thing, and said, here's how you take his temperature. I showed her, I handed her a piece of paper and a pen, and I said, do me a huge favor. I am super busy today. Will you keep track of his temperature for me every half hour so we can make sure that he doesn't spike a temp? Wow. And that was awesome because for whatever reason, she felt taken care of. And she felt like I was taking care of her parent in this really super duper wonderful nurse way. Left the room, and she did not follow. When I went back in the next hour to do my assessment, she had the vitals written down, and she was pretty darn proud of herself, right? That was pretty cool. So now I know the next time I'm going to deal with some difficult family members that I really need to figure out something that they can do, right? That's the key word, because They're being needy because they feel out of control and afraid. So if you address those two things, what are they afraid of and how can I give them control? They will no longer be needy. So if you can, try to pay close attention in your psych rotation because therapeutic communication skills really do come in handy. As a student, there's a certain amount of buffer between you and the real world of nursing that completely disappears when you become an RN. I'm looking forward to hearing your stories in nursing school about how you creatively solved problems with needy patients. I hope that you can take a breath and just be the beneficial presence that you are, instead of jumping to conclusions about how awful the day is going to be with these needy patients and their families. Until next time, you guys keep being awesome nurses. I will see you then. Peace.